In the latest episode of The Simpsons, the family find themselves trapped on a flight from hell.
This plane is filled with all the worst flyers in the world!
Titled Convenience Airways, Homer has to deal with the most obnoxious flyers ever. And I'm really excited to talk about this one because it combines two big parts of my life, my love for The Simpsons and all my years working on aeroplanes. For those who might not know, I was a flight attendant for British Airways for 5 whole years. So in this video, I'm going to break down what the episode got right, what it got wrong, while also sharing my many horror stories from my time working as an air hostess. The episode opens with a C-SPAN broadcast showing a testimony before the Joint Committee on Terrible Events. Marge is there walking everyone through the events of March 12th when the family were taking a plane trip to Louisiana for a Bouvier family barbecue. Now, just because of her last name, I did sense that she might have had some French ancestry, but I never realised her family were Cajun. I thought that was a really interesting tidbit as we don't know too much about Marge's side of the family compared to Homer's, so I do hope we see more of this in the future. Anyway, Homer immediately starts causing a scene when he finds out that they can't sit together, but since he's already banned from every other airline and Marge is so desperate to keep him from ruining the trip, Homer promises not to cause a scene.
I promise, Marge, I won't let you down.
Meanwhile, the gate agent announces that there's one complimentary first-class ticket available, and Marge instantly snatches it up. It's after this that she's then directed to the luxurious first-class suite.
I want everything! The whole first-class experience!
I genuinely loved serving queue passengers like this. This is often because they were so excited and so new to flying business or first class, so I went out of my way to make sure that their flight was as enjoyable as possible because it felt like a real rare experience for them. Which it probably was because those seats are expensive. Meanwhile, back in economy, and a flight attendant who fancies himself as a comedian starts doing the announcements and cracking jokes.
The safety demo. Remember this come Oscar time.
As a former flight attendant, I can tell you that if hearing these jokes as a passenger is bad, imagine hearing it for the entire flight. You hear it in the briefing room, the flight, the hotel, the flight again, even picking up your bloody bags, they're still making jokes. And yeah, I know I sound miserable as hell, and yeah, I am totally aware that I won't be asked to come back to BA anytime soon, but well, it's the truth. So Homer is having an absolutely miserable time in economy, stuck between comic book guy and this random girl. And suddenly, this random girl jumps up and announces that there's a conspiracy going on.
This is a trap! It's a conspiracy to take us down!
This moment right here is actually a reference to a viral incident from 2023 when a woman had a very bizarre outburst on a flight.
That back there is not real!
We then see that the plane is packed with the most obnoxious flyers imaginable. There's passengers clipping their toenails, eating smelly food, flossing their teeth, all of which I am sure that you and I have experienced on a flight at some point in our lives. Personally, as a flight attendant, I must say that the most annoying thing I ever saw two people doing was purposefully breaking a light above their seat in order to get upgraded to first class. I actually saw it happen. They took a pen, jammed it into the light, cracked the glass, and claimed that it was crashing down on them, all to get upgraded. And the worst thing is that the pilot actually did, rewarding them for their shitty behaviour. Anyway, Homer's struggling to keep it together and texts Marge, but she's snoozing peacefully in first class. Meanwhile, a broken gin bottle in the overhead compartment drips down into Krusty's mouth, soon getting him drunk to the point where he starts messing with boxer Drederick Tatum, who eventually finally snaps and beats him up. This was a reference to a 2022 incident when an obnoxious passenger was annoying Mike Tyson, provoking him to lose it and so punched the guy in the face. Now, I'm not one to encourage violence, but that guy definitely had it coming. It was the perfect example of fuck around and find out. Speaking of celebrities, it wasn't uncommon to spot a famous face. I personally saw Rita Ora, Kenneth Branagh, Princess Beatrice, and David Walliams, and my friends met even more, like Cher and Madonna. I was jealous. Also, there was an actual Instagram page set up by cabin crew members who shared stories about the celebrities they served, whether they were rude or not. And let me tell you, if you want to know the true character of a celebrity, watch how they treat customer service people. Anyway, while all of this is going on, Homer's stuck dealing with a crying Maggie, and everyone's getting annoyed with him because of it.
Somebody shut that brat up! Oh, that's my brat. Stop judging her!
This got a big laugh of me, definitely one of the funniest episodes of the season so far, and just when Homer finally finds a couple of understanding parents, they turn out to be total weirdos who let their kid go potty right in the middle of the aisle. And while I've thankfully never seen this myself, I know it happens, and yes, it does absolutely stink up the entire plane. Soon after this, Maggie goes potty in her diaper, and Homer has to rush to the toilet, but he's also got to dodge a bunch of annoying passengers in the aisles, like people doing yoga. Now, this was something I saw people do all the time. I get you want to stretch, but taking up the entire aisle so no one can pass is incredibly selfish. Just leave it till after the meal service. There's also a joke about two passengers falling around under a blanket, and when I saw this, I was so damn shocked because this exact same thing happened when I was working. And how did we deal with it? Well, we all told each other and took turns trying to interrupt them. Why people treat a public aircraft like their very own living room or boudoir, I'll never know. We saw absolutely everything in there. After getting Maggie all cleaned up, Homer comes out to find that the plane is deserted.
Where is everybody?
Soon a stewardess appears and presses a button that opens a trapdoor to a prison below, a prison holding all of the unruly passengers. It's then revealed that Mr. Burns is the one responsible for installing these trapdoors, which makes sense considering he's had a lot of experiences dropping people down trapdoors for the last 35 years. And it's here we then get one of my favourite jokes with the prison safety video plays.
Please affix your own ball gag first before ball gagging your child.
And while BA didn't have anything quite like this, we were trained to restrain and strap people down who were potentially violent. Thankfully, I've never had to do it myself, but I did have to have a lot of practice during training. Oh, and one funny reference I noticed here was Nicolas Cage in Con Air. Back to Homer, and he starts riling everyone up about their rights.
Buying a ticket gives us the right to do what we want.
The prisoners begin to revolt, trying to break out, and just as Homer is about to join them, he gets a message who he thinks is from Marge, but it turns out to be Maggie randomly pressing buttons.
Don't be shellfish? Oh my god, I am always thinking of myself.
Remembering his promise to Marge, Homer helps settle down the rest of the prisoners.
I'm sorry I savagely beat your husband with your hair bone.
Now that everyone's behaving, the passengers are set free to return to their seats, and they're acting a whole lot more civil. And while all this madness is going on, Marge wakes up none the wiser. The episode wraps up back at Congress with Marge pleading with them not to allow gels on other airplanes, only for them to then drop her down a trapdoor.
It's easy to push a button and drop all your problems down a trap.
Overall, I liked how this was a bottle episode with all the characters being confined to one location. It gave it a really chaotic and claustrophobic vibe, making you feel that you're trapped on the aeroplane with them. I admit I didn't really love the C-SPAN segments because I think it could have worked fine without them, as they didn't really add much and they kept interrupting the story. I also really wish we got to see that Louisiana cookout with Marge's family at the very end because it sounded fun. But those are just minor grievances. I had a lot of fun with this episode, and I think anyone who's been on a dreadfully long-haul flight can find something to laugh at and to relate to here. But what did you think of this episode? Let me know in the comments below. Also, a big thank you to my awesome Patreon supporters for backing the channel and for supporting me. I really appreciate you.